Hi. So apparently I managed to, well, I didn't, but we managed to have the camera now going, and I just need to sort out this YouTube thing and I'll be with you. I don't know what this is still, a problem, but it is. So sorry. I need to sort this. Shit. I'm doing something wrong. Because otherwise you can't chat, and that's, the whole purpose of this is that we can have a conversation. But if you can't have a conversation because YouTube is like blocking me from having it, then what's the point? Anyway, now I should be there. So yes, I can see it. So I guess you are going to be able to see it now as well. It's my iPad. I'm projecting. Yay. Hi. So today, it's weird to see myself. I want to talk about if jewelry is art or if it's not art, and I would like to have your opinions on it. And I will be talking about jewelry because jewelry is the thing that I know best, but it kind of applies to all kind of crafts and what we consider high art as well. So yeah, I would love to have this conversation. And so please give me your input. So for those of you who are new, which is like everybody, hi, my name is Joy. I'm an art jeweler, and I decided to start this place that I've called the Art Break Club because it's a 30-minute everyday break. It's live, so we can chat, and it's all about art and crafts because that's what I love. That's what I think about most of my time, what I do during my days, and what I love to think about. So I know that there are people out there like me, so I just need to find them. So this art club that has just started is divided. Each day we have a different theme. So Mondays is for documentaries. This week was on Francis Bacon. Next week is going to be on Hilmaf Klimt, whose documentary I posted on my community tab, so you can go over there and check it out because we're going to talk about it on Monday, and I'm super excited because she's like amazing, and I hope more people are going to discover her because she's really underrated. And then on Tuesdays I work and we talk about arts and crafts and like the craft world and making and all of that. It's more of a let's chat, questions, answers, let's have a conversation kind of day. Wednesdays it's more about like crafts. I'm going to start with if jewelry is art today, but I would also like to go into specific jewelers and craftspeople, potters, woodworkers, all of that. But yeah, I'm going to start with jewelers because those are the ones I know best, obviously. And Thursdays is my embarrassing day, so I'll learn how to draw live just because I like embarrassing myself. Not true. It's just because I want to keep myself accountable, and you do that. So Thursdays, so tomorrow I'm gonna learn how to draw live, and I hope you do it with me. And Fridays are for art news, so we can all be in the loop and see what's going on in the world. So that being said, let's start with today's theme, which is jewelry art. So I think we can go and have a discussion about what's art, what's not art, but I think regarding the craft world, it wasn't considered art for a long time. So the term art jewelry, as you can see on the screen, I hope you can read that. It's a quite modern term because for a really long time, jewelry especially had value only linked to its material. Sorry, I still have a very sore throat, and you're gonna hear me like this. Sorry, really sorry. So as I was saying, jewelry was very, very linked to its value. It still is, because when we buy something that's made of gold or has diamonds or any kind of precious metal in it, we really want to know its value so that it doesn't lose value over time. So art jewelry was a way of shifting from a a position where the value was mostly on the materials to a position where the value was mostly on the craft, because there is obviously a lot of skill and craft that goes into jewelry, especially like those, those incredible antique tiaras, the ones that are transformable and they become necklaces and earrings and everything. I mean, how much work and skill goes into those pieces, and still it wasn't considered art because it was mostly appreciated for the value of its materials. And so the idea of jewelry being art started from the idea of valuing the work of the person more than the materials. And I think that is a very, very interesting shift, because I'm going to check sometimes if, like, every once in a while, if somebody wants to chat with me. But I think that's a very important shift, because we move the relevance, importance from the object to the maker. And that's when it becomes, in this idea, let's say in this structure, becomes art jewelry, and so closer to what we can consider a work of art. But in my opinion, it was, I'm gonna move this a little bit. I felt like, yes, that's better. I felt like it was, you could see my head like that. It was a bit weird. So I think that's very important to understand the shift between the materials and the maker, because before this shift, the maker was an anonymous person, which is why many of the antique jewelry are not signed, or are signed just from a workshop. But that was much more because, and that still happens, but it is mostly because you're telling a client that that thing, that thing is made really of that material. Sorry, today is just... The reason why we mark our jewelry is because we need to tell our clients that it is, when we say it's 18 karat gold, it is 18 karat gold, and if it isn't, they can actually put us in jail. So that's why you put the mark. It's not like a signature, like the signature of a painter or something like that, which is inherently its value. A mark of a goldsmith is not inherently, it's the material's value. It's a proof of the material's value, and it's not a proof of the piece of art, let's say, value. So we've had, through the, the arts and craft movement, and the introduction of less pricey jewelry, well, not jewelry, less pricey materials in jewelry, we have this shift. So the hand making part was more important, became more important, and slowly we have this new definitions of jewelry, which is like studio jewelry, art jewelry. There are many kind of definition: research jewelry, design jewelry, contemporary jewelry. They all have their specific niche, but that's not like super interesting to me, honestly. I think what's really, really interesting is that, to me, anything that is made can be art. So yeah, anything that's handmade, sorry, I had to specify that, anything that's handmade, hand assembled, hand thought out and created, can be art. But there is a but. I think what art is an expression of ideas, of emotions, of thoughts. So a painting is not art because it's, it's a painting. It becomes art when it actually makes somebody else feel something, when we can feel it, when it communicates with us. In my humble opinion, art is a form of communication, and so anything can be art, as long as it's communicating something. And I like put out some jewelers and art jewelers mostly, just to show you what I mean exactly. So I think one of the easiest example is jewelry made actually by artists. You know, that's the easiest one I think to understand. This is jewelry, for example, made by Dali. I think it's the most famous one. And because it's made by an artist, even if he didn't actually make them, he designed them, and then he wasn't a jeweler, so he didn't make them with his hands, but still he designed them and found the concept and all of this. So they're considered his jewels, and we can have a conversation about that, but I think that's a topic for another day, let's say. But it's you can see how this is very Dali. It's just very Dali. Like, these are bigger pictures. Like, there is like this one. I mean, this is just a 3D version of one of Dali's paintings. It's very much Dali. And I think that it's through these kind of jewels, it's really easy to understand. I'm going to show you a video of this because it moves and it's amazing. It really comes through the fact that these jewels, these art jewels, are very personal. And I think that's when they can become art. But jewelry is not art inherently. Just as a vase or a painting or painting the walls or a fresco or anything else is art inherently. I just don't think that like a sculpture is a piece of art inherently. That's just my opinion, but that's how I see it. And I think these are a really, really amazing example of how personal they are, how much of the artist's vision we can see, even if it's, you know, not bidimensional like his paintings, but it's in 3 dimensions. I think it's very interesting, and this kind of jewelry is beautiful. And if you've never seen it, like, this is his beating heart. I mean, how amazing is this? It has a mechanical part inside, and so it moves. I've never seen it live, unfortunately. I would love to. But how incredible is this? And this is like so Dali. And so it's very, very personal. And, you know, like Picasso's jewelry as well, it's very, very him. It couldn't be anybody else, you know? It just couldn't. So I think that's what makes it different. That's what makes art jewelry different from everything else, from jewelry or high jewelry or fine jewelry. I think it's a personal vision behind it. And I think that's true for any kind of art, or art form or craft form. So my personal opinion, and again, I would really like to have your opinion on this, but my personal opinion is that any kind of arts or craft can be art if it has a vision and it's communicating something. Those are the 2 really fundamental things that a piece of art should have. Not every maker will be an artist, in my opinion, and not everything made by that maker will be a good enough piece of art, because not everything comes out exactly as it should. But I think if there is an aesthetic, a vision, and there is something that's communicating, then I do think that jewelry, as much as pottery, sculpture, woodwork or whatever, can be an amazing art form. Also because personally I decided to work with jewels instead of, you know, learn how to make jewelry instead of, you know, sculpture or painting or whatever, because I have a very, I think jewelry, it's very intimate. So I'm a child of the 90s, so I've seen movies like Anastasia, And when I was a child, one of the things that I loved the most about Anastasia was, the little pendant she gets from her grandmother that says "Together in Paris," and then she put it in the locker, and it's a key, all of that. And I would have loved to have something like that from anyone. And that's what jewelry is, and it's so special. But at the same time, it's so tiny that you bring it with you all the time. So it's not like a painting or something else that you can't really, you leave it hanging there and then maybe you take it from one place to another. But you always keep jewelry with you when you're wearing it, obviously. And when you're wearing it, it sits on your skin, and that's very intimate for me. Like, for example, the only jewelry that I actually wear every day are these bracelets. If you've seen any video of me working, you can see that I always have them with me. And these are bracelets that my grandmother gave to me for like 15 years. Every birthday, she would give me a silver or gold bracelet with like my name on it and written La Nonna, which means the grandmother in Italian. Then gold became incredibly expensive and she stopped. But I have like the first 15 years of my life. And I have like a pair of earrings that come from my other grandmother that have like bees, and those are some of my favorite earrings. And my mum gave me some earrings, and I think there's nothing exactly like it. So that's why I decided to go with jewelry, because I think it's extremely intimate. So I think jewelry has an incredible potential to be a very personal piece of art, if that makes sense. But not everybody has my same opinion. So other opinions are welcome as well. So we can actually discuss about it. But I wanted to show you some of the people that I think are considered, some that are considered and some that I don't agree with, but that are amazing jewelers. So the first one, for example, is Suzanne Belperron. So Suzanne Belperron was a female jeweler from the 1930s. She is absolutely amazing and one of my personal heroes. She used to say things like, "My style is my signature," as you can see. She has a whole Wikipedia thing on "my style is my signature," because she famously didn't sign her pieces, which is very bold, and I honestly love it. But in my opinion, this is amazing, beautiful high jewelry. It's considered art jewelry for a reason that I'm not sure of, but I think that this is amazing high jewelry, which can be a piece of art, but its main feature is not like communicating something, but is to be absolutely stunningly beautiful, which shouldn't be something like bad. I think it's something amazing, because beauty is extremely important for me. So I think Suzanne Belperron isn't an art jeweler. So people are going to hate me for this. People into jewelry, well, they're going to say that I'm an idiot, and that could be it. But that's just my opinion, because I do feel that art jeweler, which maybe is just closer to studio art jewelry, which is made by one person in the studio. But I think it's absolutely beautiful. I just don't think it's extremely personal. And the other one that I love is one of my visual heroes, not personal, but visual heroes. It's Jar. His jewelry is, I think, the most beautiful jewelry I have ever seen in my life. These, I mean, you can check it. Unfortunately, there was just one exhibition at the Met and one in London. I was too young, I didn't see it. But yeah, I think his jewelry is absolutely stunning, absolutely incredibly stunning. But again, I'm not sure that there is there is a huge message behind it. And that's fair. There doesn't need to be a message all the time behind it. Things can just be absolutely stunningly beautiful. That's fair. pursuing beauty is an incredible task. So I don't know why we like treat it like it isn't. But so yeah, I think it's just, this was, Christie's. I just wanted to show you a video of these incredible jewels. But yeah, to me, it doesn't, I don't want to say it because people are gonna, if somebody from the jewelry world sees this, they're gonna think I'm a complete idiot. But I would put this into high jewelry, not into art jewelry. One of the what's his name? I'm going to show you another one who I think is, I can't write today, sorry. This is David Michael Jewels. So Michael makes them now. I don't know what happened there, and I kind of, it's none of my business, honestly. But they create, and it's not this one, sorry. I'll just open Instagram. They create jewelry that is like completely handmade in the studio by them, exclusively by them, and it's very, very personal. You know, it's not opening. Let's see if Google's a bit better. It's this jewelry. I think it's very much inspired by Jar as well, but it's very, very personal. It has its point of view, like Jar, like Will Perron, but I still think that it's not. It doesn't have that like disruptive, communicative part that I think art jewelry should have. This is high jewelry, and it's fine. Sorry, I think I got a bit in a loophole, in like a downward hole of only talking about jewelry, which I guess is not everybody's cup of tea. But I think we need to talk about it because I think that jewelry is not considered art, and that's a pity, because there is some jewelry that is art. There is some jewelry that is something else, like this, high jewelry. And I just think that it should be, that we should shift the way we consider art, or what we consider art rather, and open it to any possible medium as long as it has a personal visual experience. Well, visual, if it's a visual art. If it's like writing or music, then no, obviously. But an aesthetic, I think it should have an aesthetic, and it should communicate something. And if that's my broad enough definition, basically anything can be art. And I really like that, because I do think that in my world, that's the case, and I love it. So I would like to know what you think, but I'm still building, and I have to be patient. I know that's fine. But I wanted to show you some of the like art jewelers. These are like Griegst or Robert Lee. Now they have bigger companies, so it was considered art jewelry. Now it's like they have bigger clients and everything. You know, it's not one of a kind anymore. It's reproduced. So I don't know, but still, it's just to show you like the look of it, which I think like this is Greeks, and I think it's very, very, very personal. I think it's absolutely beautiful. Where is it? I wanted to show you Robert Lee Morris as well, which is this kind of jewelry. It's not like my ideal, but you know, the knuckle, this is on First Dibs, whatever. This is a bracelet, and you can see how the hand is terrific. It's horrible, but you can see how weird and personal that is. You know, it's a very specific look, very, very specific. And I think that's what actually makes it art jewelry, that it's very, very specific. And it's very recognizable, but at the same time, it's telling you something. I think I've said this like 20 times now, so I feel I feel like you must have understood my point of view by now. So I would really like to know your opinion about this and what you consider art and what you don't consider art. I think there is, I think because we don't want to say that some things are not art, because we use this as a piece of art like a compliment rather than as a definition, like if a word that defines something. We tend to call everything we like a work of art. And I would just like to, have different words with different meanings, and so this is my definition of work of art. So that when I talk about art, that's what I mean. And I think that's important. And yeah, I think there are so many art forms that we don't consider just because they haven't traditionally been considered, like working with paper, working with, ironwork, for example, or working on stone but not doing sculpture, doing like reliefs for houses, or, creating doors, things that are more architectural. They're mostly seen as a whole rather than a specific, work of art, which, can be fine. But I think there are so many that we're missing just because we give more importance to the medium than to what it's expressing. And this is what happened, as I said, with jewellery as well. We were giving more importance to the material than to what the maker was doing, communicating, creating. And I think we need to do the same kind of shift towards any kind of maker. So, people who weave, is that a word in English? Who do like crochet and stuff like that. Instead, paper. Even people who work with other different mediums, I think we should really shift our perspective towards what's art, and give much more relevance to what the maker is trying to say rather than through which medium. So that's my not so modest opinion. But I'd like to know your thoughts about it, as I said, because I want this art club to be a place where we can chat and communicate and share thoughts on stuff, rather than being just, a one-way conversation. And if you have ideas or ways on how we can achieve this and make it more, open, if you would feel more comfortable in another way, in another setting, if it would be like nicer to have like live Zoom calls between, 3 people, 5 people, 2 people, whatever. And then, growing and having just live Zoom calls where anyone can join. I don't know if that's a thing, if that can be done, but that could be. So let me know your thoughts, and I'll see you tomorrow when I'll try to continue to draw my skull. And I've been extremely, extremely good, and I haven't continued to draw by myself when nobody was watching. So what you're going to see tomorrow is exactly my hand trying to learn how to draw. And hopefully you'll take a break from what you're doing and talk about art with me at the Art Break Club. I feel so embarrassed saying that, but I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.